Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto Chapter 5 Text number 30 Please repeat after me. Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam Adrushta paramo janaha Adrushta paramo janaha Adrushtam atmanastatvam Adrushtam atmanastatvam Yoveda nasamuhyati Yoveda nasamuhyati Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam Drushta paramo janaha Yo vedana samuhyati Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam Paramo janaha Adrushtamatmanostatvam Yoveda nasamuhyati. Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam adrushta paramo janaha adrushtam atmanastatvam Yoveda nasamuhyati. Matajis. Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam adrushta paramo janaha adrushtamatmanastatvam yoveda nasamuhyati. Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam adrushta paramo janaha adrushtam atmanastatvam yoveda nasamuhyati. Nunam hi adrushta nishtoyam adrushta paramo janaha adrushtamatmanastatvam yuvedan. Word to word translation. Nunam, certainly, he, indeed, adrushta, unseen, nishtaha ayam, something ends there. Adrushta, the unseen destiny. Paramaha, ultimate. Janaha, every living entity within this material world. Adrushtam, that destiny. Atmanaha, of oneself. Tattvam, ultimate truth. Yaha, anyone who. Veda, knows. Na, not. Saha, he. Muhyati, becomes bewildered. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat the translation. Every man is certainly controlled by destiny, which determines the results of one's fruitive activities. In other words, one has a son or daughter because of unseen destiny. And when the son or daughter is no longer present, this also is due to unseen destiny. Destiny is the ultimate controller of everyone. One who knows this is never bewildered. Purport. Nanda Maharaj consoled his younger brother Vasudeva by saying that destiny is ultimately responsible for everything. Vasudeva should not be unhappy that his many children had been killed by Kamsa, or that the last child, the daughter, had gone to the heavenly planets. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Every man is certainly controlled by destiny, which determines the results of one's fruitive activities. In other words, one has a son or daughter because of unseen destiny. And when the son or daughter is no longer present, this also is due to unseen destiny. Destiny is the ultimate controller of everyone. One who knows this is never bewildered. So we see here, there is a very deep discussion or deep thought that is being expressed by here by Nanda Maharaj in consoling Vasudeva. One of the biggest challenges of human life is to understand what is destiny, what is free will. And it's a constant conundrum. And most of the world is running after different things, different activities we're doing, different actions we're taking, is actually because of a lack of understanding of this very important concept in life. An understanding of this concept can actually make a huge difference in a person's spiritual outlook and in how they live their life and how they experience the protection of the Supreme Lord. I think when we take an example, we can illustrate this a little better. So we all know the story of Chitraketu, right? I'm going to go halfway through the story. So Chitraketu is one of the demigods and is a devotee of the Lord. And so he is moving around in his aeroplane with other Gandharvas, and they are singing the glories of the Lord. And it so happens that aeroplane is flying over Kailash Parvat. Right? And he happens to see Lord Shiva in an assembly of saints. And then he notices that Mother Parvati is sitting on Lord Shiva's lap in the assembly of those saints under that tree in the Kailash Parvat. And so Chitraketu is actually spiritually amused at the wonderful qualities of Lord Shiva. But externally, he laughs at that situation. Right? In his mind, he is thinking, oh, look at this wonderful qualities of Lord Shiva. He is dhiraha, undisturbed, even when Mother Parvati is sitting on his lap and is so absorbed in the Lord's thoughts that this doesn't even seem like something that is not usually appropriate. Right? In normal social situations, right? You're sitting somewhere in an assembly and having a spiritual discussion. It is very, very unusual for the wife to be sitting on the person's lap. Right? Even if somebody was sitting nearby or a friend or something, but not on somebody's lap. And so he laughs out like that. And Lord Shiva does not even notice. He is in his bliss. Neither do any of the sages this thing. But Mother Parvati takes cognizance of this. Right? And she curses him and saying, you are undeserving of your current situation of being a demigod by your these actions that you're doing. And so you deserve to be cast into a body of a very fierce demon, Vrutrasura. Right? And at that time Chitraketu just takes they're saying, "Oh mother," he addresses Parvati as "Oh mother." She obviously is the divine mother of everyone. And he says, "Oh mother, whatever you sanction is obviously for my ultimate benefit." And he accepts that. Right? And now he is cast into this fierce body of a demon. Just think about that for a situation. You're in the body of a fierce demon with glowing eyes, and just looking at you, people are like just fainting here and there. It's such a ferocious demon. Somebody as powerful as Indra gets a little shaken back just looking at him. And then when Vrutrasura, actually Indra is the one who attacks him, and Vrutrasura is just returning his attack. And Indra's elephant is almost knocked off, and he's almost falls down, and he's afraid of that situation. And Vrutrasura is preaching to him. "Oh Indra, you're the head of all the demigods. What is this? Why are you not having faith in the will of the Supreme Lord? Why are you not having faith in that you will always be protected? You are a devotee of the Lord. Right? Why don't you have faith that you'll always be protected? Why are you not fighting fearlessly?" So this example is very nicely illustrating this concept of destiny and free will. Right? So the Shastras talk about, at a very high level, if you want to start at the 30,000 foot level, the way you think about this principle is that our current life is a result of our past activities, and our current action is only creating our future. Most people in this world are working very hard with this thing. Oh, my action now is going to change the happiness and distress I'm going to experience right now. Isn't that what most people think? If I do this, if I make this adjustment, if I buy this gadget, if I have this house, if I have this wife, these children, this dress, whatever the thing is, this will, if I go to this trip, whatever somebody is like constantly thinking of different things, and oh, this will make me happy. It will change the equation. But the Shastras are saying, oh no. Whatever is to happen to you now is already predetermined. But what you do with what happens to you now determines your future. This is a very radically different concept. Now, whether the future is the immediate future or a little bit distant future or this thing depends on different situations. But at a principle level, what you're doing now is determining your future. And there is a very nice verse in the Bhagavatam that also illustrates some additional point within this understanding that I'll just read out. Let's see here. Yatha danda daro baddaha swakarma bir ado bhuvi prayatan pashur ishanam yantra rudha ivanjasaha. As a tethered bull, because of being bound by the ropes of its own karma, wanders here and there at will, but remains confined to the limits of the tether. Similarly, the living entity is controlled by the Supreme Lord and wanders in this world, bound by the reactions of his own work. And when you combine these two concepts, it actually gives us the framework how to live our lives. Right? We are saying whatever is happening now is happening by destiny, but depending on what mode you are in at this moment, you can experience the same situation in different consciousness, and it has different implications for your future. Right? So this example of the bull is given. If a bull is tied to a central post, right? The degrees of freedom of that bull, what determines the degrees of freedom of the bull? The length of the rope. And the Shastras say, when a person is in Sattva Guna, one has a very long rope. The rope is so long, it almost is, the rope has no effect on that person or that on the bull. Just imagine if you had a rope that is like a kilometer long or a mile long. And whether the rope is there or not, it really doesn't matter so much because you can go wherever you want. The rope is not holding you back. Sometimes some of our little mischievous bulls in the Goshala, right, this Purushottam, he is very naughty. And if he has done some mischievous work for the day, what they will do, they will bind him very tightly to the post in the night so that he learns a little bit of lesson and so he doesn't do more damage. Right? Practically, he is like this. At best, he can sit down and he can get up. That's it. Right? He cannot move around, go here, go there. He is literally bound. Right next to him, Nandi is there. He is completely free. Right? Why? Because they know he doesn't do anything. He'll happily sit. He will do this thing and he'll just sit there nicely. Very same concept. A tamasic person is bound by a very small rope. Actually speaking, a tamasic person is not exercising, practically speaking, does not exercise any free will for all practical purposes. Then the question comes up, tamasic person, he is not following any regulative principles. He is doing whatever he wants. You ask him also, he will say, I'll do whatever I want, especially when a person is drunk. What will he say? I am the king of everything. Kuch bhi karunga main. Isn't that what they say? Literally they are saying that. But what are they actually experiencing? They are bound up. Right? The alcohol that is going through the system, right? I mean, the whole situation is created, how that thing how is bound by this addiction to drinking. Same person, he will drink, then he will throw up, he will fall on the street, he'll be lying, over there all night, and then the morning he'll get up, he have a splitting headache, and people are all, like very badly looking at him. And then by about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I think, a little bit senses will come, and then he's very, very sober. Oh, what a mistake I did. I know I should not do this again. And you go talk to him at that time, nice philosophy he'll give you. Life is so this thing. Look at this, what a bad situation I am in and all that. Just fast forward a few more hours. He's back to drinking, he's back to this. I'm the king of the world, I can do whatever I want. Hey, who are you? What is this? And he'll go drink, and it just repeats itself day in and day out. And unfortunately, this drama cannot last for long. Right? His body cannot take that, but alcohol is a poison. Just a matter of little time, all the drama will come to an end. Right? So, by choosing to put ourselves in tamoguna, at that point, you are completely limited in your freedom. And rajoguna is something in between. Some level of rope is there, but still you are still tied down by a situation. So the Shastras say that destiny is not in your control, but what you do with your destiny is fully in your control. That is your exercise of free will. That will not only create the most optimal current situation, but it also creates the most optimal future. Right? So again, let's take some practical examples. We always keep talking about Kulavecha Sridhara, who was a very intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what was his material situation like? Can somebody say what was his situation? Right? Very poor. He was living in one, in small hut, right? And what was his occupation? Right? He was a donna man, right? This disposable plates, and eco-friendly disposable plates, green disposable. Right? And so he would just go gather the different leaves, those big leaves that you get, and make some plates out of it, make some donnas out of it, and he would sell in the street, in the marketplace. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very regular pastime. Very regularly, he would, almost every day, he would stop by his stall, and he would make fun of him and have a very jovial conversation. He would say, "Hey, what is this bad quality things you're selling? Huh? This is not worth this, whatever 2 anna, 3 anna is telling. This is only worth 1 anna. I won't give you 3 anna. I'll only give you 1 anna." And then Kulavecha Sridhara would laugh and say, "No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is nice. Look at this, how nice leaves and all that." And then he say, "What is this? You're taking money from a sannyasi? Huh? You should give it free to me." And they would have a little bit of exchange, and then, and Kulavecha Sridhara would happily give whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants. Right? This was a very intimate pastime that used to happen. And this Kulavecha Sridhara, he used to make a very meager living. Can you imagine selling all of that? He was hardly making any money. But he had he was practicing. He was a Grihastha, and he was practicing the Grihastha's duty of using 50% of his income. He said, I was carefully reading and understanding. Usually when you say 50%, there is a concept of, like in Rupa Goswami's principle, he was using 50% of his saved wealth. Right? And in this case, this Kulavija Sridhara situation, it is clearly, I reread that, it's writing income he was using for the service of the Lord. Right? So, we see here, materially it looks like he's in a very difficult situation. If any of us put in that situation, we will say, oh, see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Look at, his other associates are there. Sarva Bhattacharya has a huge house. Is this thing? Pratap Rudra is the king. Right? You could say, things like that. Oh, why am I in such a difficult situation? Srivas Pandit has a beautiful temple. He's got an angan. He's got a beautiful house. Now, why do I have a thatched hut? No, but that's not how he's thinking. In fact, later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for 21 hours, he exhibits his full Aishwarya Roop, like, as Vishnu he exhibits himself, and he's giving darbar to everyone. And then he calls for Kulavija Sridhara. And Kulavija Sridhara is coming there saying, and offering obeisances, then he's saying, please take a boon. I'm very pleased with you. Take whatever boon you want. Right? And what does he ask? Anybody remembers what he asks? Right? He's practically saying, may I always remember you, may I always worship you. And he's saying, may you always come and bargain with me like this. Right? He's saying, let me be in this wonderful situation that you put me in. He's saying, wonderful situation you put me in. So that I can have this very pleasurable interaction with you. Right? So if you see here, he is given an opportunity to ask for anything in the world. And the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not in his sannyas, kind of devotee mood. He is in the mood of Vishnu, ready to give you anything you want. And is asking you to give. But Kulavija Sridhara is exhibiting a completely different consciousness, a different situation. Right? So, the thing to understand over here is that he is not trying to solve for, let me create a different situation, because the situation, that the thing is, it's all a mental concoction we have, that this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness. It's all in the mind. And it's all in the mind that is determined by our current situation. Sometimes, if we, do a little bit of introspection and think, 30 years ago, what was my consciousness? 20 years ago. That day, if you switch back to that day, what were you asking Krishna? Or if you're a devotee, you're asking Krishna, or if not, you're saying, if I want this, I'll be happy. Right? Just think of that for a second. In most of our cases, whatever you wanted is actually there. Isn't it? Just think, what were you asking at that time? Or you have much more than that. But that is no longer your point. You have moved on to something else. You want something else now. Then you're saying, no, this one thing I want and that will make me happy. You got exactly what you asked for, but why are you not happy then? Why are you not satisfied? What is this thing? And point is, there is no limit to this. We somehow think, we are very convinced. If you go and ask some devotee, he will very rationally, he will say, no, I only want this much. I'm not asking, I don't want to be Bill Gates. I don't want to be Elon Musk. I just want this much. I'm fully going to be happy. You can be assured, whatever you're asking for, after you get it, you'll still not be happy. because immediately the mind is setting a newer standard, newer goal for you. It's a forever. That's why the example of the carrot on a stick in front of a donkey, it's just hanging over there. And the donkey is going on, oh, I'll get it, I'll get it, I'll get it. It goes on working. And that is the forever carrot that is hung in front of us. So one should understand that the impact of destiny here, we see in this verse, he's saying, every man is controlled by destiny, which determines the results of one's fruitive activities. It is your fruitive activities are creating a destiny, and without if you do not realize destiny is the ultimate control, one who knows this is never bewildered. One who understands that destiny will bring me to different situations. Destiny will create different situations and ups and downs and different aspects of pleasure and displeasure and all those things. But what consciousness we put ourselves in is the only thing that matters. And our ultimate weapon for putting ourselves in the best consciousness possible is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. By daily reading Bhagavatam, by daily contemplating on these subject matters, by introspection, we are able to create the most favorable situation given whatever condition. And the reality is that situation is actually, none of this material situation has any impact on our ability to progress spiritually, on our ability to experience a wonderful spiritual life and happiness, both materially and spiritually actually. Not just, it's all in the mind. And one is able to control the mind, is able to control both his free will and his destiny. Because once your mind is controlled, you're able to control your free will, and you'll act nicely in a Krishna conscious way. And by doing that, you are controlling your destiny, because you're creating a very wonderful future for yourself. So conceptually, it's a very simple concept. Practical application is a little difficult. Right? We are, when something so-called unfavorable happens, we get shaken up. We go into this, cycles of, oh, why me, why this, why that, why, this. That is when, when you catch yourselves going into that situation, you need to understand what is it that will help you get out of it. When you go into that kind of a self-pity mode, what is it that will help us? I'd like to hear. Your introspection ability is gone. Because you're so bogged down by it, your mind, because ultimately you need to use this mind-body system to do this thing. Sometimes it helps, but what else? So you're trying to bring an external help by reading something, you're saying. Reading Bhagavatam, something. What else? Devotees association. In fact, that is more potent than reading, because reading also, you may not be in a mood, you may not be this thing. Just pick up the phone or just go over. Sometimes you actually need to go. It's not just simply talking on this thing, because you're still, in fact, a simple thing as going out in the sun, and and if you're this thing, just Take advantage of the modes of nature. There are sattvic things that you can take advantage of. Go talk to devotees. Have this thing. And whatever it is, that is the association of devotees, right? Whatever mood you are in, you can be assured that, there are people in different levels of consciousness. But Lord creates the situation. And their positivity, their higher consciousness can immediately, it's an instant transfer. And they'll say, oh, come, I'll give you some prasadam, this thing, that thing. Some little bit this, oh, this festival is so nice, this, that. Immediately your mind changes. So, these are, some wonderful secrets and, abilities to control our situation. And we should all learn and practice this in our lives so that we can control our destiny. Okay, I'll stop here. We'll see anybody has any quick questions or comments. Yes, ma'am. That's a good. So, how do you explain to somebody the mood of Lakshmi Devi sitting on Lord Narasimha's lap? So, this concept of again, it all depends on the person's their level of this thing, right? For devotees, there is one explanation. For an outsider, there is an explanation, right? There's a different levels of an explanation you can get. Now, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. The devotee explanation is very straightforward, right? Hladini Shakti, Radharani, Lakshmi Devi is an expansion of the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord, right? And so, it's the Lord's wonderful reciprocation of conjugal love with his consort. And actually, Lakshmi Devi's mood is not like Radharani's mood, where there is a more informal, very jovial. This thing is in a very Lakshmi Devi's mood is very servitude mood. You always see Vishnu is lying on Anantasesha, sleeping like this, and Lakshmi Devi is at his lotus feet, pressing his these things. So that's this thing. Now, when you talk to just regular people who are coming in like that, we can explain that the Lord reciprocates with his devotees in different rasas. One of the rasa is this Madhurya rasa. In the Madhurya rasa, Lakshmi Devi's role is a very formal role of that, like Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama, they were all his consort, they were his wives in Dwaraka, and there they were all helping Krishna in executing his duties, right? So in that mood, Lakshmi Devi is right there available to serve Narasimhadev. In fact, we should, if we get some more time, we can explain how when Narasimhadeva appeared to kill Hiranyakashipu, and he kills him, and then he's still so angry at Hiranyakashipu for troubling his very innocent small boy Prahlad Maharaj. And they're still not able, everybody is, all the demigods are there, Brahma is there, everybody is there, but they're like, they're afraid to even go near him. And then they ask, Mother Lakshmi Devi, and says, Lakshmi Devi, only you can control him. Please go and pacify your Lord. And what does Lakshmi Devi say? I have never seen my Lord like this. I know this is beyond my textbook. I don't know how to deal with this situation. I want to stay away from him at this point. Let his mood settle down a little bit. I'm not going anywhere. If that was the mood, he says, I don't want to go anywhere near him. Sometimes, when somebody is real, let's stay. Only Prahlad Maharaj, they said, you go. He's like happily going with his garland. But he's going nicely with the garland and this thing. Just looking at him, Narasimhadeva calms down. And then he sits down. And that is why you see a smile on his face. And once he's having the smile on his face, now Lakshmi says, oh, now I can go on. And we should explain this part. And then people will see that how, the Lord is so wonderful in his reciprocation with devotees. Prahlad Maharaj never asked even once, please protect me. That is why sometimes, as especially initiated devotees and all that, we are going through some trouble and we say, oh, I'm going to do Narsimha Homa, Narsimha Deva protect me, Kavacha I will do. That's when, devotees will say, what is this? That is not the right mood of reciprocating with Narsimha Deva. You should be try to be like Prahlad Maharaj. He knows your problem. It's not that, if you don't tell, if I don't tell, they'll say, sometimes they'll say, only if you ask, they will give. There is one level of reciprocation. Ask and he will give. There is a higher reciprocation, which is you don't ask and he will give you 1,000 times more. Now it's up to you which one you want. Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Bol Premanande.